Story segment tonight. You may have noticed that I become extremely agitated when pundits and politicians address the terrorism issue with foolish platitudes like terrorist acts will not inhibit our freedoms. Hey, wake up! They already have. These people are killing human beings at a frightening rate, and civilized world cannot or will not stop them. Joining us now from Orlando, Florida, Colonel David Hunt. From Washington, Lieutenant Colonel Ralph Peters, both the Fox News analysts. All right, Colonel Peters, how do you get these guys? What do you do if you're in charge?
Straightforward. 1, you accept that you are in a war. 2, you name the enemy, Islamist terrorist. 3, you get the lawyers off the battlefield and out of the targeting cell. You accept there will be collateral damage and you do not apologize for it. You do not nation build. You don't try to hold ground. You go wherever in the world the terrorists are and you kill them. You do your best to exterminate them, and then you leave, and you leave behind smoking ruins and crying widows. If in 5 or 10 years they reconstitute and you got to go back, you go back and do the same thing, and you never send American troops into a war you don't mean to win.
All right, so you would go then into Syria, where the ISIS stronghold is, with ground troops, with air support, in a fast campaign and kill as many of them as you can. That's what you would do, well, Colonel Peters?
What you do is you use the appropriate military tool for the environment. You don't rule anything out, whether it's air, sea, land, cyber. You use what's appropriate, but you don't get bogged down. You stay. We have this gift of powerful mobility. Use mobility. Move faster than the enemy. Think faster than the enemy. Hit harder than the enemy, and be as merciless as the enemy. If you're not willing to do that, they will win.
All right, Colonel Hunt, what would you do?
Well, I wouldn't do what we've been doing for the last 13 years because it hasn't worked. We've got to go after them, of course, militarily, but unfortunately, it has not stopped us. It's got to be an economic pressure, and I mean Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Yemen. I'd go after NATO. We're leading NATO. NATO, you're not going to help us. We'll pull out. We'll pull all this. So world banks. Pressure, economic pressure, as we put on Russia and Iran, that has worked, as well as this military campaign that Ralph talks about.
All right.
But killing them all, Bill, killing them has not worked. There's got to be
what you
more
can do
than
is
just
disrupt. Killing them is the only thing that works.
Them.
No. It won't stop it. Because you have state sponsorship of terrorism. So just killing them in Iraq won't stop it. You got to get at the states that sponsor this. And the only way to do that is economic,
let's get specific.
Let's get
specific now. Pakistan, for 14 years, all right, has enabled the Taliban by giving them a sanctuary in the northern part of their country where they could cross and kill Americans. And they could go back, and then when they took a beating, they could reconstitute and come back. The Bush administration allowed it. The Obama administration allowed it. We haven't cut off aid to Pakistan, and we certainly haven't put an economic boycott. We boycott the Castro brothers in Cuba, but we don't boycott Pakistan. Does that make any sense to you, Colonel Peters?
Look, Bill, first of all, I got to say, we have 2,000 years of recorded history of religious insurgencies. The only thing that has worked in 2,000 years is killing them. Now, as far as countries that don't want to play ball, very simple. Pakistan doesn't want to crack down on the Haqqani network. We tell them we're going to go in and take them out, and if you get in our way, we are going to smack your military down. Look, Bill, you wrote a terrific book, Killing Patton. Did Patton consult lawyers? Did we read the Germans, their Miranda rights? We leveled while killing their men at the front lines, we leveled their cities and burned their families alive. In a war, you fight to win. You don't worry about political correctness. The jihadis will do anything to win, and we're worried about our table manners.
All right, Colonel Hunt, you don't see Colonel Pete, you see him as being too bullish on this, right?
No, I'm not talking. No, it's not far enough. I got no issue with killing terrorists. I don't care where they are. My point is, it has not worked by the very definition that Ralph just used. The point of this is 26 years we've been bombing Iraq. 4 separate presidents. It hasn't worked. It's got to be that and economic, religious, philosophical. We've got to do. The president has to unite the country, and there has to be some U.S. sacrifice, not just soldiers and intel people.
But he's not that kind of a leader. President Obama.
You asked me what I do.
Right.
You asked me what I would do. And I'm telling you, you have to make, the American people have to, there's got to be sacrifice.
I got a minute left with you. I got a minute left. Is this France's fault, Colonel Peters, that they got this because they left all these Muslims in and they leave them alone and they're in the little no-go zones? Is it partially France's fault that this happened?
No. France's policies have been stupid, but nothing excuses Islamist terror. Nothing. Nothing. Nothing.
Okay.
And by the way, I'm telling you, Bill, the only thing that works, you kill them without mercy.
I would eradicate as many as I could.
It takes decades.
But you also have to do the unintended consequences deal before you do it. All right, Colonel Peters, Colonel Hunt, France's fault. They let all these people in. Now it's out of control. Partially their fault.
Yeah, of course it is. I mean, the no-go zones are inexcusable. They had look, France put 33,000 cops on the street to get these guys. How about if they put that much in Afghanistan and Iraq? Of course, they had these guys, they let them go.
Right,
so
they let them go. But we let a lot of people go, too. We're letting people go from Gitmo all day long, and you know they're going to come back. 30% of them already have.
30% have.
Right.
About 30% have.
All right, gentlemen, very interesting. Plenty